So this is huge. This is one of the most fundamental parts of offense and one of the most fundamental parts of a 1-4-1. And that's that we dodge, pass, pass, dodge. So you're going to see a split, a little bit of a re-dodge, takes it low, and then pass, pass, dodge, and draw the defense over. And then you got pass, pass, dodge, tough approach, and a quick little wrinkle, and Loyola scores. And so dodge, pass, pass, dodge is one of the most important fundamentals of any offense. And in a 1-4-1, it's one of those offenses that's kind of developmentally sound because it's pretty easy for the kids to do it because they've got the outlets right there. So let's talk a little bit about hot spots and spacing. Spacing in any offense is so important. And in the 1-4-1, you've got the spacing involved with the adjacent players and the crease players. But you also have these hot spots. And, you know, what's really interesting about this 1-4-1, and this is why so many offenses actually morph into a 1-4-1, even if you start in a 1-3-2 or a 2-1-3 or like a Crease type of offense, it morphs into there's a dodger, there's a follow, there's a float, there's a ball side high guy on the crease, there's a backside low that's kind of like the pinch, and then there's an X guy. And if you sort of look at this is the same clip we were just watching, but let's just watch for a second the positions. Dodger, there's a follow out of the screen, there's a float over here, ball side high, backside low, he'll back off, and you got an X guy. So let's just sort of see the backside low guy. Yep, he backs off. There's your positions. Now it kicks up and over, bang, 2 passes, dodge, follow, float, ball side high, backside low, X. And in so many of these offenses, these are the in this case, Loyola is playing this where they're leaving their guys on the perimeter in their spots. They've got short sticks on the wings. They got, you know, probably the middy's getting the pole out top. He can always dodge if he wants to. They got the same 2 guys inside, and they're playing the ball side high, backside low. They might look to pick for each other in there. Not a whole lot of movement in motion, but you can see where the spots are. So now let's take a look at Denver. Denver, and a lot of teams do this, but Denver does a really nice job of mixing up who fills what spot. So we got a dodge, and we've got our 1-4 setup here. But watch what happens. The crease, the ball side crease becomes the follow. The backside crease becomes the ball side high guy. The top center guy cuts the middle, and he really becomes the backside low guy. And our float is out of the picture, but the float's in the float spot. And so there, if you really think about it, anybody can be playing any of the spots in your 1-4-1, and that's part of the way you're going to be able to get some really nice motions. And you can see here, they don't dump it to X, and we're going to talk a little bit about this later, but they end up doing the long carry wraparound type of deal, which really allows for some great feeding options. But just so we're clear on it, we've got all these spots, and to be more variable, we can have anybody playing any spot. So I want to talk to you a little bit now more about spacing, and I want to talk a little bit about lateral spacing here. So first of all, you can see the width that Denver has during the course of their setup. And that's great because it requires longer movements and longer approaches, especially for teams that don't want to give a big run at their man. And the other thing you're going to notice is that their crease rolls off. Sometimes they roll off to provide an outlet to move the ball, because when you only have 4 on the perimeter, it's a little harder to move it. So sometimes this guy might roll off to be an outlet, and other times he might, like this, roll off to set a quick little pick. Now the ball kicks up, and Denver's going to run. And here's where, you know, it's hard to sort of see what set they're really in. But they go back to this 1-4 an awful lot. And you can see it right now. You got ball side high, backside low, follow and float. There's a dodge, draw, slide. And here's the lateral spacing I want to talk about, where your follow is going to get wide enough that he really is a tough cover, and your float is nice and wide as well. And we're going to see some other examples of this advantage of a really sound follow and a really sound float. So let's keep going. Here's an example of Navy running. They're pretty much a 1-4 team. And they dodge, physical dodge, kick it through X, up, and now all of a sudden they got a little split dodge and tough approach. Defense really sloughs down hard on this. Obviously, they're pretty worried about this dodger because they're like really sloughing hard. Physical dodge, through X, and it goes up through X and up to the float in a really nice tape. Now, I want to bring something else to your guys' attention. You know, when you're in a 1-4, okay, you can see clearly it's a 1-4 here. So you got your wing top wing, your two inside guys, and your X guy. If you ask Scotty Marr, now he runs an offense that I would sort of call a 1-4. He calls it a 2-2-2. Why? Because he plays out of it more like this, where it becomes a 2-2-2 because he likes to dodge these goal line dodges all the time. So just sort of bringing it to your attention that your diamond becomes a box anytime the ball gets low enough or high enough and people back off. And here's where that fade's occurring. Watch the X guy fading back, giving the space necessary, and giving himself a really nice lane to be able to receive the ball and kick it up to that float, who now has a nice opportunity to dodge. Now let's look at reversing it to the follow. This is an awesome look. Here's the goal line dodge I was talking about. So Albany splits, they throw it to X, and now they throw it right back to this follow spot. And it's critically important that your follow gets to this sort of 10 yards in the hashes area. You know, he's a little bit tighter because Syracuse gave it to him. But anytime, you know, and this is true for your Syracuse offense, this is true for your 1-3-2, for your 2-1-3, it's true for all of these offenses. You need to be able to get into these follow and float spots to be able to have your lateral spacing. But you can see they rocketed off the pipe, but it's a pretty nice look. And here's another example of it where they're sort of playing out of a little bit of a two-man game with Fields and whoever that is there. I'm not sure who that guy is. And then they dodge a little bit of a higher wing, not quite a goal line dodge, but you're going to see the same kind of move and the same look from Fields right back to that follow. And I'm telling you guys, like that follow look it's really one of the best looks going, because what ends up happening is that the defense, when the ball goes to X, the whole defense begins to rotate this way. Everybody is flowing with the expected pass to the backside. And so when you take advantage of reversing it to the follow, it's pretty huge.